my mom said, why don't we go to the quilt shop and find some fabric and make a quilt? And so we did, and it was a queen size quilt. So that was my go big or go home moment. Don't start with a wall hanging, start with a queen size.
Famous last words. Let's go to the quilt shop.
Right, right, exactly.
You get bit by the bug and you have it for life. I've heard that so many
Yep.
times. Hello, welcome to the Sewing Corner. I am your host, David Martelli. I am here with a special guest. We have Lisa Donnelly here today, and we are going to go over some things. I want to introduce my Martelli crowd to Miss Donnelly and what she does, and hopefully we can get Miss Donnelly's crowd to be introduced to Martelli to see what Martelli does and who we are. So, Miss Donnelly, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. As we mentioned in on the green screen, I just want to get my audience to really know and find out who Lisa Donnelly is. And so I'm just going to start off by asking a few questions. So how did you get into quilting?
Yeah, so I've had kind of multiple iterations of getting into it. So both my grandma and my mother taught me to quilt. So the first time I started quilting, I was just graduated from high school, needed something to do over the summer while I was working and preparing for college. And so my mom said, why don't we go to the quilt shop and find some fabric and make a quilt? And so we did, and it was a queen size quilt. So that was my go big or go home moment. Don't start with a wall hanging, start with a queen size. So I made that quilt over the summer, and then my mom actually hand quilted it for me after I left for college because I kind of left it in my rear view mirror. But then many years later, after my second child, I had a friend make me a quilt for the baby, and it looked like a lot of fun again. So got right back into it.
Famous last words. Let's go to the quilt shop.
Right, right, exactly.
You get bit by the bug and you have it for life. I've heard that so many
Yep.
times. All right. So what are some of the things in life that inspires you personally to develop some of these things that you develop?
Um, So many things. I feel like there's just, my family is a big part of my life. So I have three kids. They are currently 7, 10, and 12. So I love working with them, and they love color and kind of coming in the studio and helping me out, seeing what they like too. So that's kind of fun. All botanical things, so flowers and plants. I am a landscape architect by day. And so get to play with a lot of plants for my day job. So that is inspiring for a lot of the florals and things that I use in my fabric designs or quilt designs and the fabric that I like to use. So
Which you kind of answer my next question. Do you have any children? If so, how do they support you and how are they involved with what you do? So if you want to elaborate on that a little bit more, you can.
sure.
If you want me to go to the next one, we can go to the next one. But before,
Sure. No, I actually have two sewing machines in my studio here because they like to use one of them, and I like to use mine is off limits to them. But
you're
they
not the
use
first
the
time I've heard that.
Yeah, yeah. So they use the other one, but they're sewing some simple quilts and projects and that kind of thing. So they like to come down and spend time here in the studio with me.
So this kind of goes hand in hand with what you just discussed, but how do you hope, and this is so huge to the quilting world, I try to explain this to a lot of people. If we don't have the next generation involved, quilting go away, and it's Americana. This is what we've done since our founding fathers in the early what you call them, the matriarchs of this country
Right.
was heavily involved with quilting. How do you hope to inspire the next generation, especially involving your children?
Yeah, so I mean, I learned from my grandma and my mother, and so I'm hoping to pass that down along the line to them, and hopefully they'll enjoy it so much that they pass it along to their children, and then the line continues. But also through quilt pattern design and that kind of thing, I think hopefully maybe the right pattern hits the right person, and that person gets into quilting also. So I think there's multiple ways, hopefully, to inspire the next generation of quilting.
How do you know when, and please forgive me, I don't remember your children's name, but how do you know when it's time to let, say you said a 7-year old, right? And I'm
Mhm.
assuming it's a female.
Yep, I have girl,
Okay.
boy, girl. Yep.
Okay. So how do you know when it's time to show that 7-year old how to, because like I have all girls pretty much. I have one boy and all girls, and I'm like I'm always protective of them. Don't let them do anything, right? How do you know when it's time to let her put a rotary cutter in her hand and get to a point to where okay, it's time to use big people tools, and how do you let them know how important it is to be careful and disciplined and all of the above when they're using these products that could, like a needle, go through their finger, a
Right.
rotary cutter, or anything of that
Yep.
nature. How do you instill that into them? Hey, we got to be responsible here.
Yeah, so I make them all watch a safety video
Smart,
before before they touch
smart.
the rotary cutter. Actually, my oldest, who's 12, is the only one who's had a rotary cutter, and she has a cutting glove that I bought, kids cutting glove that I make her wear whenever she's using the rotary cutter. I've had a couple of friends who are quilters who've they've had accidents and been to the ER. So I, remind people of that if they start to make a fuss about wearing gloves or that kind of thing. But yeah, it's really, really important. And I have them sew on the slowest speed on the machine to make sure they are really comfortable with the machine before we start increasing speed because I don't like you said, we don't want a finger poked by a needle on a machine. So
Mm. Yeah, there's so many moms that will be watching this out there, and I've been a traveling sales guy, and well, actually, my father mostly, but I help. We invent new products to try to keep some of this stuff in mind. But I have so many mothers or grandmothers, or even some grandfathers, some dads, say, I have my kids, and they love to watch what I do, and they want to get involved, but I'm so scared of letting them do this. I just don't think the time is right. So you being involved the way that you are with your children's life, and having them be part of what you do in the quilting studio, what you have to share, I'm sure is very important with them, because not everybody knows, hey, some child in my eyes, and I could be different about this, and even some children are different. You might have a 7-year-old that is disciplined enough to use something like a rotary cutter, and you might have a 10-year-old that's not quite there yet.
right,
And so
right,
that comes along with being a parent, engaging the child's ability, where they at, on their timeline, and be able to use some of these products. So that's why I
right,
really wanted you to share this, because I know everybody's different out there. You could probably give some ideas out there that people may have not thought of. So thank you for sharing that with me, because that
right.
was very important. All right. Let's talk about some of your projects. Do you have any blocks handy, or any quilts handy, that you can just kind of go over and do a short show and tell, so people can see what you do? So when it comes time to follow you, it might be something that they're very interested in, and you might have their style. So the floor is yours, and show us what you have.
Okay, well, I do have a quilt, one of the patterns that I released this past year. It's called Wind Blossom, and probably needs
Oh,
back up on here,
nice.
but it's kind of it has options for a scrappy, making it scrappy with fat quarters, or using yardage and having all the blocks look the same, which is actually kind of shown on the front cover of the pattern here, so that can be fun also.
So nice.
So that's been a big one. I did have a pattern release that I'm making a couple kits, not very many, but it is a Christmas um, related pattern. So those have been my two most recent projects, pattern wise. I also have a membership that I've been working on, and that's been super fun. I actually send out snail mail to people. There's a pattern every month, and it's snail mail, so that once you're signed up, you don't ever have to get on your computer again. You just get the pattern and
That would be for
head to the
me.
scrap room, head to the scraps, and start making a quilt. So it's kind of a nice way to cut out that middle piece where you have to get out the printer and figure out if there's enough ink and all that kind of good stuff. So that's been fun. Just I'm trying to go back to a little bit more real tangible connection with people rather than just this digital. We live in this digital world, and it's great. There's a lot of opportunity for speaking with people and meeting people and that kind of thing in the digital world. But I also like, there's a lot of fun that comes in a mailbox too.
Man, you're speaking my language. I absolutely despise computer. I have a media team. If I did
Mhm.
not, nobody in the world would know who Martelli is. I mean, nobody, other than when they see me at a trade show and going, yep, 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 yep. I barely know how to turn computers on. I didn't grow up with them, and I'm scared to death of them. And if I walk into a room, they stop working most of the time. So I don't know if it's something electrically with my body, but I love the snail mail idea. I think it's great, and it keeps you in that personal touch with people as well. But I also know the digital age is the way of the future, and I know everybody's doing that, and it is what it is. But okay, so next question, and this is kind of for your audience. I know that we were talking with Colby, and trying to do some of your patterns. Are we still in the works to do some of those templates for you? Is
Yes,
Colby
I've
working with
had
you?
like 4 deadlines this month, but yes, I would love to start working on templates that may be a 2026
Yeah.
project.
Well, I just didn't know if Colby knew to collab with you or not. I
Oh
talked
yeah.
to so many people, and I figured we did, but I just wasn't sure.
Yep.
Okay. Um, and I believe we talked about this, but I do want to talk about this on camera, because if there are people that are Martelli fans and they know who Lisa Donnelly is, and they want to start following you and they want to start buying some of your patterns, are you on Amazon? Are you an Amazon affiliate for other companies? If you are not, how soon, or even do you want to be? And if you want to be, how soon are you going to get there?
Yep. So yeah, I am on Amazon. I don't have a storefront yet. The kind of, you can gather all the awesome products and put them in one place. So I don't have that quite yet, but I do have my own website, and I'll be linking to that once once that's available.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm Joe Q Public. I'm watching Lisa Donnelly. I love her patterns, and she's using let's be biased here. She's using a Martelli foot pedal riser, and I absolutely love that. And I'm gonna buy it because Lisa Donnelly told me it was a great product. Is that something that I can go to Amazon and go, oh, there's Lisa Donnelly told me about this, and this is where I can purchase it. Is that something you're currently set up to do now, like taking companies' products?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I wasn't
Affiliate.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted people to know because a lot of times, and you probably already know this, there's so many ambassadors out there that find so many great and quality products, and they actually sew and quilt, and they tell the world about it, who doesn't get to do it much because they have a job, so they have to take Lisa's word for it. Hey, this is a great product, and they get it, and typically they try it and they either love it or they, with Amazon, they try it and they send it back. So
Mhm.
being able to follow you and so many other ambassadors out there is huge because they don't have the time nor the ability, or a lot of times the knowledge to know what products are really good. And you've already done all the research and you've already done all the work behind it. So that's what an ambassador is. They're
Right.
like
I've been doing it
person.
for 10 plus years, so
Yeah.
I know what
Yeah.
works and what doesn't.
Exactly. And people are like you is what brings on the next generation because you've already invested all of your time, effort, and energy, especially with your children, to find out what's good and what's not. So the only reason why I'm saying that is if you're watching Lisa and she has a product that she's pushing, it doesn't have to be a Martelli product, any product, and you see that she's pushing that product, there's probably a good reason why. So make sure if she's an ambassador and she's telling you about a good product, follow her, go try the product out. Okay. Sorry, I rambled on a little bit there. Okay. I don't like these things to run too long because I don't want to get people to lose interested. So the last thing I want to talk about you is a couple things. Where can people follow you on your different social media outlets? And if people want to contact you because they have a question about something that you're doing, maybe it's a pattern or maybe it's asking you a question about a product that you just promoted, give me your socials and how they can contact you, please.
Yes. So I am on Instagram. It's wildplumlane.quilts. Um, I am also on Pinterest at Wild Plum Lane, and I've started a YouTube channel, Wild Plum Lane. But the best place to find me, where you'll find links to all of those things, is probably on my website, which is wildplumlane.com.
Awesome. Okay. Now, real quick, I'm gonna go share this with you. If you're Miss Donnelly's fan and you watch her and you're just being introduced to Martelli, if you want to check out some of our products, you can do it at martellinotions.com. You can follow. I always encourage, if you're watching this and you've stumbled onto Martelli because of Miss Donnelly, I always encourage the people that do that. If she's showing you a Martelli product, go to Amazon to buy it because Miss Donnelly, she'll get credit for that, and she's not going to steer you wrong. I don't care if it's a Mart. This is what I always tell people. I mean, let me preface what I'm about to say here with this, and it's very important. I don't care if Miss Donnelly has a Martelli product or not. I beg her, if she has a Martelli product that she doesn't like, don't push it. Either that or tell me what it is that you're doing and what it is that you might not like about it because you might be using it wrong. I don't want to push my products out there to people that are not going to like it. So the only thing that I would ask Miss Donnelly while she's sitting here watching and while the audience is listening, I only want people to have products that they're going to use because if you're going to buy something, you're not going to use it, you're not going to promote it. What good has it done me and what good has it done for you, right?
Right?
So I encourage people, if Miss Donnelly shows you, I don't know about her other products, but if she shows you a Martelli product and she's asking you to get it, there's probably a reason why. She's not going to, and right here, we're telling you, I don't want her to push anything that she doesn't like, nor would you push anything that you didn't like?
Nope, not a chance.
I think you made that very
I've
clear the first time we talked.
Yep, not a chance. But I mean, I've been talking about your rotary cutters actually for years before we even started connecting here. So,
Well, what's funny, and I forgot, this is one question I did want to ask you before I give you the rest of my contact information. Name one product, one Martelli product that you have, and why you like it. I was supposed to ask you that before we wrapped up. Can you answer that for me real quick? Sorry.
That's easy. I'm going to go back to the rotary cutter. So I have actually arthritis in my thumbs. My hand therapist said I was one of the youngest people she's met with arthritis, and I thought I don't really want to be that record, but I struggled for quite a while with my fabric cutting. My hands were really in pain. They would ache for days afterwards. And then I found the Martelli rotary cutter, and it became no problem at all after that. And
Well,
I'm so pleased because my husband actually said to me, maybe you're gonna have to cut back on quilting. And I said,
nah, that's not
nope,
gonna
not a chance.
happen. Well, anyways, everybody, this is how we connected when Miss Donnelly and I first connected was based on the rotary cutter. And just to add to that thought 1 minute, I have literally a binder of for the last, I'm going to say 20 years or so, literally a binder of testimonials of not just how much people love the cutter, but literally my doctor told me, no, fingers, I'm not exaggerating, fingers. Come up and go this direction. I know you've seen it with people that quilt. They
Mhm.
push down on that cutter and that arthritis, it literally changes the direction of their fingertips. And so I have testimonials. Well, the doctor said no more cutting. He saw your cutter. I brought it in. He said I can cut. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, literally.
Yeah,
Now, of course, it's 20 years worth, but I have a 3-ring binder full of testimonies about that cutter. So thank you for that. I wanted to ask you that, and I forgot to ask you that before we wrapped up. To finish, Martelli. Martelli Quilters Group. You can find that on Facebook. It's an inclusive group where I have just a group of people where we're not promoting products all the time. I do promote some in the form of via of a sale, but I don't have every quilter out there saying, well, I have this for sale and I have this. No, it's a place to learn where we can come together. We can learn tips, tricks, and techniques. We can also just talk about, it's a small community. And then of course, in that community, I will do great sales or 30. I think we had something, 26 by 72 wool pad that's 280 on sale for like 120, something like that. I don't know the exact, but I do weekly sales on the Martelli Quilters group, and it's only one product out of my whole arsenal. We have tons and tons and tons of product, so it doesn't interfere with the shops out there carrying my stuff. But yeah, so Martelli Quilters Group on Facebook, you simply type in Martelli Quilters Group, you ask to join, you answer a few questions, and then you can become a member on there. And then, of course, Martelli Enterprises, our main Facebook page. Now, if you want to contact me, you can do so, Dave at martellinotions.com. That's Dave at martellinotions.com. And the reason why I give my email out, there's a lot of people like Miss Donnelly out there that's just getting into quilting. They come up with their own patterns and they don't want to do the paper ones because you can only get one out of it, and then you cut into them and then you can't use them anymore. And that's why I was asking you at the beginning of the podcast, are we going to be doing some collabs with you, meaning templates for your pattern? So that's why I give my email out there. If there's people out there that are inspired by Miss Donnelly and you're going to start doing your own patterns, we can make templates that don't move, that don't slide. You can put on your fabric so you never have fabric waste. And so we can go into more detail after you email
that's
me.
amazing, by the way. Doesn't move.
Yeah. Thank you. That's next. But I want to bring you back on, Miss Donnelly. This has been great. You've made this podcast very easy for me,
Thank you.
which
You
I
too.
really appreciate that so much. But we'll bring you on again here in the near future, and hopefully we can get together and collab soon and get some of your patterns, having templates out there that are just yours. So thank
Be
you so
great.
much for joining us.
Thank you so much for
Awesome.
having
Thank you,
me.
Miss Donnelly. Have a
Yeah.
great day, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye bye.
Bye.